The Franklin County Sheriff releasing some new information today in a double murder investigation after two women were found shot to death inside of a home.
A Jackson County man is in jail. The man is in critical condition after a drive-by shooting.
We still have the mixture of sun and clouds right now. There is going to be a small chance of rain the rest of the day, but it's really about the temperatures today. Now the focus the next few days, strong, potentially severe storms. I'm going to get into that coming up.
WKYT News starts now with breaking news.
Good afternoon. I'm Barbara Bailey. Bill Bryant has the day off. We're tracking a breaking news alert in Franklin County. A kayaker thought to be unresponsive on the Kentucky River has been found. WKYT's Kristen Kennedy is live now with the breaking details. Kristen?
Barbara, we've been out here for several hours now, and we have seen Frankfort Police, Kentucky State Police, the Coroner's Office, and the Fire Department and Fish and Wildlife all out here at some point. What I can tell you is that Frankfort Police say that someone reported seeing the body of a kayaker in the water this morning. People living on this portion of the Kentucky River say search crews got into boats and entered the river around 8:15. They've been going very slowly up and down this portion, searching. Frankfort Police say they have recovered a body. We did see a coroner's van leave the scene less than an hour ago, and just a few minutes ago we watched crews pull a kayak out of the water. People living over here say that it is very common to see people on kayaks and in boats out here on the water. It is not common to see a coroner's van pull up at a boat ramp. Live in Frankfort, Kristen Kennedy, WKYT.
Kristen, thank you. And we're also tracking a breaking news alert in Pike County. State police say two people have been shot and killed. Few details have been released, but here's what we do know. It happened this morning on Island Creek Road. That's just south of Pikeville. We're making calls and we'll update this story on WKYT.com. Developing news in Franklin County. Two women found shot to death in a home have just been identified. They were found murdered in a home on Pea Ridge Road just hours after police say a man was found dead of a suspected suicide on Washington Street. WKYT's Hillary Thornton is live in Frankfort with the very latest. Hillary?
Well, good afternoon. That's right. We now know the victims are 32-year-old Jennifer Downey and 89-year-old Carolyn Barker. At today's news conference held here at the Franklin County Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Pat Melton identifying Downey as Barker's caregiver. The double murder investigation started Friday after a deputy found the two women with gunshots at a home on Pea Ridge Road. Sheriff Melton says deputies went to that home after a family member called 911 saying they could not get in contact with their relative. Also on Friday, Frankfort City Police investigating a suicide on Washington Street. The Franklin County coroner saying that man was related to one of the women killed. Sheriff Melton says they aren't ready to comment on any possible relation between the suicide and the double murder investigation. However, did say they are working with Frankfort Police to see if there is a connection. Meanwhile, there have not been any arrests made, and Sheriff Melton went on to say they are not looking for an active suspect. Investigators at this point unsure of why the two women were killed.
This thing's still fresh, it's still new. We're going through every single piece of evidence that we can gather, collect. We're doing a ton of interviews. I've got 3 detectives on it, and they are working nonstop. So, you know, obviously all that will come out hopefully later. We may never know what the motive was.
So still many questions surrounding this double murder investigation, with some new details coming out today. And Sheriff Melton says they do hope to release some more information later this week. Live in Frankfort, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
Hillary, thank you. And Sheriff Melton says Downey, who worked as Barker's caregiver, leaves behind several young children. In Knox County, 2 people are facing charges in connection with a deadly weekend shooting. State police say the victim was found lying in the middle of a road off the Corbin bypass. His name has not been released. Police have charged 2 people with carrying a concealed weapon, but say more charges are expected. We're making calls to police to try and confirm their identities. A Madison County man is fighting for his life after a drive-by shooting. The man was shot overnight on Turpin Drive off North 3rd Street. Police say the victim was able to tell them who shot him. WKYT's Mark Barber is in Richmond now with details on who's facing charges. Mark?
This afternoon, Sammy Isaacs is in critical condition at UK Hospital. He's relying on a ventilator to breathe after he was shot in the right lung here on Turpin Drive late last night. Police say Isaacs was gunned down in a drive-by shooting by this man, Jimmy Skinner. The landlord who owns the apartments on Turpin Drive said Skinner was from McKee, but he was visiting a friend here. The landlord tells WKYT the shooting happened when Isaacs walked up to Skinner's car. She says Skinner was from the country and he got scared and shot Isaacs because he was reaching into his pocket. Skinner was in the car with his girlfriend and his baby, and he took off. Police were able to track them to North Madison Avenue, where they arrested the 18-year-old. Neighbors like Jessica Davis heard the sirens. Now she wants us to hear her safety concerns.
Well, it's really bad here. Out of all the places in Richmond, this is the worst one. I walk everywhere. I walk all over Richmond. I walk home, I walk to work, I walk to school, I walk to my friends' houses, I walk all over. And so it's really not really setting really well that people keep getting hurt.
Skinner is charged with attempted murder and wanton endangerment. He's waiting to check with his attorney before he will decide whether or not he'll speak to us from jail. In Richmond, Mark Barber, WKYT.
Mark, thank you. Police say when they arrested Skinner, he admitted to shooting Isaacs. It's the first day of the summer, and it feels like it. That heat and humidity could give way to storms later in the week. Meteorologist Micah Harris is in our First Alert Weather Center now with an early look at the forecast. Micah?
Yeah, on Defender Radar Network, nothing really going on. We can't rule out a couple of sprinkles here in the next few hours starting to pop up, and maybe even an isolated thunderstorm or two. Remember, today is a small chance of rain. We're in the low to mid 80s as we speak. We'll actually finish off in the upper 80s to around 90 degrees. It's going to be a pretty steamy day, and so we're already steamy out there right now. We're very humid. But as we travel off into the afternoon, off into the evening, watch out for some of those thunderstorms to develop. Remember, it's 30% today, not a great chance, but it's tomorrow off into your Wednesday that we are looking at the possibility of some strong, potentially severe storms. That's going to be our focus of the forecast to start off your summer week. Summer actually kicks off at 6:34 later on this afternoon, and we're going to be talking about that and also those storms the next couple of days, the timing on that, when they arrive, coming up.
All right, Micah, thank you. If you didn't get your paper from the Lexington Herald-Leader this morning, here's why. A printing press in the Midland Avenue building was damaged during an overnight fire. No one was hurt. Now, while the decades-old press is being fixed, the editor for the Herald-Leader says today's paper will be delivered as soon as possible. A man accused of robbing a Lexington store using a sock full of rocks will face a judge in less than an hour. Sean Pittman is charged with robbery. Police say he walked into Radio Shack on New Circle Road swinging his makeshift weapon. They say he stole $10,000 worth of electronics before police caught up to him in the Lexmark parking lot, where he was pushing the stolen items in a shopping cart. We have a traffic alert in Lexington. Crews are blocking the inbound lanes of South Broadway between South Broadway Park and Angliana until 3 o'clock today. Crews are working on the sewer lines. Traffic will be diverted to the center lane. Work is expected to last 2 to 5 days. Still to come, the FBI has released new details about what the Orlando shooter said to police during the rampage. And a major shakeup in Donald Trump's campaign. Who's stepping down in 5 minutes? More news now. We're getting new information today about what the Orlando shooter was thinking and doing during his deadly shooting rampage a week ago. The FBI released transcripts of the gunman's negotiations with police. Weijia Zhang has the latest from Orlando.
Omar Mateen spoke with police 3 times during his shooting rampage inside the Pulse nightclub. During one call, he said, "I'm in Orlando and I did the shootings." Another time, he said there was a vehicle with bombs outside and "You people are going to get it and I'm going to ignite it if they try to do anything stupid." The FBI released excerpts from the calls Monday morning, but some parts are redacted, including Mateen's pledge to ISIS.
We're not going to propagate their rhetoric, their violent rhetoric, and we see no value in putting those individuals' names back out there.
Mateen's wife remains under suspicion but has not been charged. Police say she was with him when he purchased ammunition and when he took surveillance of Disney World and Pulse nightclub.
We're nearing the conclusion of our processing of the crime scene here outside the Pulse nightclub.
The 49 victims of the attack were remembered at a massive vigil Sunday night. An estimated 50,000 people gathered in downtown Orlando as the names of each victim were read aloud. People said the event helped them focus on healing and moving on. Weijia Zhang, CBS News, Orlando.
No explosives were found outside the Pulse nightclub. The Senate is expected today to vote on 4 pieces of gun control legislation. They're all likely to fail in a bitterly divided Congress. Democrats are expected to block 2 Republican amendments, arguing that they fall short in controlling the sales of guns. Republicans are expected to block 2 Democratic amendments, contending that they threaten the constitutional rights of gun owners. A shakeup in the Donald Trump camp. His campaign manager is quitting. News of Corey Lewandowski's departure comes as Trump faces deep resistance from many in his party, concerned by his contentious statements. Lewandowski has been by Trump's side since the beginning of his unlikely rise to presumptive GOP nominee. A red flag warning remains in effect today near Santa Barbara, California. Firefighters battling a wildfire are working what could be the hottest day yet. Another wildfire in New Mexico has already destroyed 24 homes. In Arizona, a different fire has burned through 19 square miles. The round-the-world trip continues for the first ever solar-powered airplane. Solar Impulse 2 took off from New York this morning. It's embarking on a multiple-day flight over the Atlantic Ocean en route to Spain. The plane started its journey in Abu Dhabi last March. It has since made stops in China, Japan, Hawaii, and San Francisco. Chewbacca Mom has a new toy to play with, an action figure with her face on it. Candace Payne's wildly popular video of her hysterically laughing while wearing Hasbro's toy Chewbacca mask has millions of views online. She was recently invited to the toy maker's headquarters and presented with the toy. It reportedly says several of Payne's catchphrases from her Facebook video, including, "I am such a happy Chewbacca." At 12:30, hear from the family of a little girl who state police say was kidnapped from her Knox County home.
And we're looking just south of us in that high pressure system that's really churning us up with those temperatures. Not only that, but keeping us mainly dry for now. Next couple of days, not so much. I'm going to show you those thunderstorms in the forecast coming up.
Now, your zone-by-zone forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
Few clouds out and about, some of those just kind of separating and leading to bright blue skies. Now, that's not good for us because it's going to be very, very warm for many of us as we head throughout your afternoon. We're already in the low to mid 80s. We'll finish off in the upper 80s to around 90 degrees. Some of us will reach 90 degrees. I don't see that being a problem here in Lexington and Frankfort. But then you look down south and we're there in the lower 80s with a few clouds heading that way. Might be a tough deal to actually get to 90 degrees down south. So it all depends on where you are. Travel off into the rest of the afternoon and there will be an opportunity for some rain, a couple of rumbles of thunder. But it's not a great chance. It's only 30% chance. It's more about your temperatures than anything else. So as you're trying to get out, get the kids out the door, you can do that. Just know, throw in that water. Keep the water going there with the kiddos and yourself too. And the pools, lakes, rivers will be packed if you know, everybody can get out and about. Because today is one of those days you got to take advantage of. Tomorrow, here come some thunderstorms in the forecast, and that'll bring us better chances of rain. Let's talk about your rain chances the rest of the day, anywhere from 2 p.m. to about 10 p.m. This area that I have highlighted, anywhere from Lexington, north and west, that is your best bet to actually see a couple of rumbles of thunder. There's still a very, very slight chance everywhere else. Just can't rule it out. But for the most part, I would say it's a small chance, but it is there for central, north, and western zones. Now that's going to be later on this afternoon off into the evening hours. It should fade away. We will have a very slight chance overnight to actually see a rumble of thunder, but then that system dives on in here. We'll have a few rumbles of thunder tomorrow morning, starting off anywhere from 5 a.m. to about 9 a.m. And then we'll get into the afternoon, and that'll give us the best chance of rain, best chance of thunderstorms, and maybe even some severe weather, I-64, and go into the southern zones. That is your best opportunity. Let's check out your 7-day forecast, because this is not the only chance we're going to be seeing there for some showers and thunderstorms and maybe even some severe weather either. We'll actually have that chance on Wednesday too. And so back-to-back days of some strong, potentially severe storms. And then that fades away there on Thursday and into Friday. Now those 2 days, it's more of low confidence as of right now. I mean, we still have some time to really break down that forecast, but really all eyes focused in on tomorrow and Wednesday for that severe weather threat. We'll be watching that very closely.
All right, thank you. And when we come back, one former Cats NBA stock on the rise, while the NBA's best player makes good on a promise. Dave Baker has sports next. Stocks are jumping as investors grow more optimistic that Britain will remain in the European Union. The Dow Industrial surged more than 200 points higher in the opening minute of trading.
Brad Calipari's at UK. LeBron James has now won an NBA championship in his hometown of Cleveland. The way I see it, it pretty much locks up that John Calipari will be the Kentucky coach for a long, long time. Last night, the Cavs trying to win a Game 7 on the road for the first time since '78. Golden State led by 7 at the half. Cavs come on in a third. Kyrie Irving, how about that drive with the left hand and the foul? Cleveland up by 6. Right at the top of the third, the Warriors retake the lead. Andre Iguodala inside. Golden State by 1. Fourth quarter, 7 minutes left. Steph Curry, boy, just wasn't himself. Hits that 3 to tie the game at 83, but in Game 6 and 7, Golden State missed its last 5 shots in each game. Part of that reason, James, who says they don't hustle and play defense in the NBA? He had 41 in Games 5 and 6. Last night, just the third Game 7 triple-double in NBA history. And then the clincher. How about Irving stepping back and stepping up over Curry with a 3? LeBron put it away with a free throw. The final, 93-89. James had a triple-double, 27 points, 11 boards, 11 assists. There you saw one of 3 blocks. And Cleveland gets its first major sports championship in over 50 years. Now, big week for the Kentucky guys, hoping to make it in the NBA with a draft on Thursday night. Alex Poitras has been the busiest Wildcat over the past several weeks. He's worked out for 9 NBA teams, including the Dallas Mavericks on Saturday. Still has scheduled workouts with the Celtics and the Clips before Thursday, despite that knee injury that kept him from working out early. Draft experts say he's been moving up. Late word, they say he could now go in the second round, that San Antonio's really been looking at Tyler Ulis with pick number 29. And finally, how about a little golf controversy? Final round of the U.S. Open, Dustin Johnson making a charge when here on the 5th green, he's kind of getting his stroke down, addresses his ball. They say it moved, and they tell him at number 12 that he caused it to move, and that they might give him a penalty. Could you imagine the last round of a major? Doesn't let it phase him. All he does is just throw that dart in there at 18. He makes the putt. He wins. They assess him the penalty. But still, Dustin Johnson, who is widely regarded as the best player in the game to never win a major, gets it with a final round 69, a U.S. Open championship. And that is his first major. Tonight, on the Big Blue Insider with Dick Gabriel, former Wildcat Dwayne Casey, now the head coach of the NBA's Toronto Raptors. Yes, he played well and into the playoffs, and he's got that new $18 million contract. And Herald Leader recruiting specialist Ben Roberts and former Wildcat footballer Anthony White, a Cleveland native. A. White is celebrating today. That's at 6 on 630 WLAP. Barb, that's a look at sports on this Monday.
All right, Dave, thank you so much. And there's more to come in our next half hour of WKYT News at noon.
Coming up at 12:30, we will have more on the double murder investigation out of Franklin County as Sheriff Pat Melton releasing some new details in the case.
Tuesday night's Mega Millions jackpot is $333 million, and Wednesday night's Powerball jackpot is $184 million.